Okay, I had no idea this existed until it went viral the other day, but there's a worldwide community on TikTok dedicated to singing sea shanties.
Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
I've listened to this more times than I care to admit, and I had to know more, so I went down the rabbit hole. Digging through TikTok and Wikipedia, peeling apart this performance voice by voice.
Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum.
From Spongebob to the Library of Congress to a subreddit that I found that only is dedicated to sea shanties, I learned a lot. So let's dive in, the world of sea shanty talk.
She had not been 2 weeks from shore.
So the song that kicked off this whole video is called Soon May the Wellerman Come, which is, if you spent more than 5 minutes on Shanty Talk, you'll know it's one of the most consistently covered songs on there.
Soon may the Wellerman come.
Soon may the Wellerman come. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum.
And this particular chain was kicked off by a Scottish singer named Nathan Evans. Eventually, other TikTok users made their own duets to add on top of the song. Listen to the progression here, what each voice adds.
Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. What will we do?
TikTok isn't the only sea shanty community online. I found r/sea shanties on Reddit, which has over 30,000 members. It has its own Discord, and of course, it has its own memes. Mostly they're about getting control of the aux cable to play sea shanties in the car. And for the record, when I made this video, this was the top post. A Wellerman mega mix.
Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum.
So why are these folks so crazy about sea shanties? Listen.
'Cause we're homeward bound on the Arctic around with a good ship taut and free.
The richness of all the voices stacked on top of each other, it's really different than, what I would usually think of in terms of guys' harmonization, like a barbershop quartet, for example.
Oops, I did it again.
This feels primal and I want to do things, tap my foot or sing along, which is kind of the point. Originally, sea shanties were sung to synchronize labor on a ship. Back before steam engines, human labor was the only fuel on a ship. You needed to synchronize the exact movements of a whole crew's worth of people. It's a work chant, right? We've heard these before. Or even similar to a military cadence.
Put 'em down, put 'em down. Stay in step,
The hallmark of a sea shanty or a sea song is the call and response.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
All right, yep, we're gonna get there.
This was a ship that put to sea.
It's the soloist or the shantyman calling out in the response of the chorus.
Down below my belly boys blow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
So a sea shanty was made to accompany work. Usually you're holding a rope or a net while you're singing the sea shanty, and there's very obvious times whether you need to push or pull something in the song, and that helps to synchronize everyone's movements.
Come on, boys. I can see him kicking now. Won't you help me to raise them all?
The two major types of work people would do to sea shanties would be hauling or heaving. So hauling is pulling and heaving is pushing.
Oh, I thought I heard the old man say, "Leave her, Johnny, leave her."
So with hauling, you're looking at something where you want a forced exertion, specific moments where you might need to pull something. You can hear that here. Whereas with heaving or pushing, it's a more continuous type of labor. So the type of song you would push to or heave to would set a manageable pace for your work over a longer period of time. So less about one specific moment and more about the continuous rhythm.
Oh, I drink whiskey when I can.
Wikipedia lists like 15 different types of shanties depending on what type of work you're doing. I'm not going to read them all, but you can check them out. You know where to find it. But I am going to play this. They have some really cool old audio here from the 1920s.
Let up that Wellerman break.
This was sung by a sailor in California.
All together now. Yankee John with a sea-boots on, all the wood piles down. Yankee John with a sea-boots on, all the wood piles down.
For the most part, shanties predate recorded music. So a lot of the ones that we know about were recorded and preserved by collectors who went to ports where shanties were traded among sailors, or these collectors would go directly to sailors and ask them to sing and they'd record that.
You may talk of your pleasure trips on the Great Lakes, but a trip on these snail boats you bet.
So that led me to the Library of Congress, where there's even more examples of sea shanties being sung, originally by all these folks who would have actually been the ones to have sung them on the boat.
The fume nearly choke you, so greasy the floor.
But that's not where the story ends. You can still hear shanties in films.
They've started to sing.
And in video games. Like this Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where you collect different shanties over the course of the game. People love these things. If you look on YouTube, videos of these shanties have millions and millions of views.
Are you ready, kids?
And yes, of course, we cannot forget the theme song to everybody's favorite cartoon sponge.
You wish Spongebob Squarepants.